So we have come to the final section in what I still call the front book, even though it's not really, I mean, my setup uses two books, but they are glued together now instead of being separate and like they were before. Anyway, I still consider the front section my front book, and the rest is my back book. So the final section in the front book, the monthly book that I switch out every month, is my random section, where I write morning pages and where I brainstorm new ideas sometimes. So normally I just use it in the morning to write, I'm tired, I'm having a cup of tea and the sun is shining. And I can hear a dog in the distance. But then some days I just get these bursts of inspiration and I write about, for example, I world build and I mark the world building sections with purple so that I know where to find them. The reason why I use purple is because this is the writing tab and it's purple, light purple. So to correspond to that, I use a highlighter in that color. So yes, I don't ink these pages. I keep them white because I like the variety. Some sections are really embellished and inked and painted and stuff. But this is just, one pen, white pages, but with some embellishments. I mean, you don't have to be boring. Just because it's ordinary journaling. So these, there are no rules about what I write here. It can be just really uninteresting stuff. Because since I write like this, like it's a whole text, I tend not to read that afterwards. Especially when I'm like brainstorming how to set up my next monthly book or something, which I do a lot on these pages. That's not something I like to go back to and read again. So I prefer reading about my life, like what happened in the daily doodle section, where it's much more like succinct, I guess, distilled, and it's written in bullet form some of the time, at least. But this is just blah 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 blah, page up and page down. So yeah, I don't know if I have a lot to say about this, but I can say that I think my mood is improved when I write in the mornings. Like, it's just a good way to start my day. And I guess that's what morning pages are for, to sort of get out any residual emotions or worries or whatever it is on paper. So it's kind of a, I don't know, mental purge, way of keeping the cobwebs away in your soul. Not to wax lyrical about this stuff, but also sometimes I do like if I have a problem, or I don't know, if I'm thinking about something like how do I solve this, I can sometimes get really good ideas when I journal about the problem on these pages. So that's also the point. And some, as I said, planner plans, how I want to, sometimes I just try out layouts for the next book. Like this, just to see what it looks like. And yeah, I do find that at least I think my mood is more, whatchamacallit, level. No, it doesn't fluctuate as much when I write these morning pages. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about that. So that's it. Oh wait, I do have something more to say. The problem constantly is how many pages to devote to this. So in January, I started on page, what was it? 180, I think. And I didn't use up all the pages, so at the end of the January book, I had some embellished pages that I never used, which I don't like that. But I also don't use up, I mean, I write like 1.5 pages per day. That's the maximum. So my solution is because when I've counted out all the other pages for the other sections in the front book, the remaining pages are my journaling pages, and that will be on a month that has 4 weeks. I have more pages left, naturally, because there are less pages for my daily doodles and everything else in the rest of the book, than in a month with 5 weeks, which is 35 days as opposed to 28 days. So I've come up with the solution that every 4-week month I use up the amount of pages. I mean, I write in the back in the random journaling morning page section until I'm done. And that's where so say that this is my April book. Say that I write to this page. And the rest of them are blank. Well, then I cut the book. Well, I do find the end of the signature. And I try to, fit my writing to the signature. So if there are some pages left in the signature, I try to use them up. And then I cut the book there. So instead of cutting where the book actually ends, I cut there. So I keep these blank pages that I haven't used up and glue the next monthly book onto them. And every 3 months is a 5-week month, more or less, which means that I have 2 months to gather blank pages, because in the 4-week months I don't use up all the pages, but in the 5-week month I need all the pages I can get. So I sort of I save them up. So like for example this April book, these are the April pages perhaps that I will save. Then I get perhaps the same amount of pages in May that I haven't used that I keep from that book. And then when I glue my June book into my setup, I get many more pages than usual because I've saved them up. Oh, that took a long time to say.